Welcome to the Third Win channel, where today we're going to discuss the 5 biggest stars to come from Nickelodeon. The only requirement is that they start as a main cast member on their show on Nickelodeon. Before we begin our countdown, I just want to say it's hard to put a value on how popular a certain person is. You can look at their Instagram followers or their notable achievements, but in the end, everyone will have their own view of a certain person's popularity. These are the 5 I chose to highlight, and I'll include honorable mentions of the people who certainly could have been on this list in someone else's eyes. Without further ado though, let's get into this list. Number 5 was the hardest to choose because, quite frankly, there are just a handful of Nickelodeon stars who really became huge, unlike Disney. But at number 5 I have Amanda Bynes. She started in Nickelodeon's All That and then her own show, The Amanda Show, which was a huge success for Nickelodeon, especially at the time. Both occurred kind of before my time though. At the moment, she really isn't a name in Hollywood at all, but her career after Nickelodeon was notable. She featured or starred in movies like She's the Man, Easy A, What a Girl Wants, Hairspray, and more. She had high expectations as an actress and she was beloved, but her personal issues got in the way of what could have been or could have continued to be a fantastic career. At number 4, we have none other than Kenan Thompson, who came from the 90s show on Nick, Kenan and Kel. This was an outstanding comedy show, and Kenan continued down this direction, finding his spot on one of the biggest shows in America, Saturday Night Live. He's still on Saturday Night Live, and he's actually the longest running cast member of the show ever with 19 seasons, and by far because the next person has 14 seasons. I really cherish his comedic work, and I love to see how someone from old school Nick really just prospered by the work done during his time on Nick, because he continued down that comedic route. Now, from here on out, big hitters, big names. Number 3 is Emma Roberts. Now, Emma Roberts starred in Unfabulous, which ran on Nick in the 2000s, and has since become a true A-lister in Hollywood. She has since featured in movies and shows such as We're the Millers, American Horror Story, Scream Queens, Wild Child, Blow. There's just too many to name. She also boasts 18.2 million Instagram followers. Moving on, someone who you definitely don't remember being on Nickelodeon. Number 2, Ryan Reynolds. Ryan started a show called 15 in the early 90s on Nickelodeon, so fair enough, he got his start on Nickelodeon, so he deserves this spot on this list. I don't think I have to justify his fame, as he is truly one of the biggest stars in Hollywood right now, but some of his biggest works are Deadpool, Six Underground, Green Lantern, and Free Guy. He also has 44 million followers on Instagram. Now, I think most of you will know who's number 1, but before we get there, here are some honorable mentions of people who certainly could have been included. Elizabeth Gillies, who has starred in some noteworthy shows like Dynasty since her time on Victorious. Miranda Cosgrove, who had a notable role in the Despicable Me franchise as well as now starring in the iCarly revival. Josh Peck, who continued acting but most notably also ran a successful YouTube channel. Victoria Justice, who continued both acting and creating music and has surely built up a following with 14 million Instagram followers. All honorable mentions have between 10 and 15 million followers on Instagram, which shows their continued relevance in people's eyes. The main reason they are not on the list is because their biggest works still remain the stuff they did on Nickelodeon. But without further ado, number 1 is, no surprise, Ariana Grande. She starred as Kat on the show Victorious, but after is when she truly prospered. She's now one of the biggest singers in the whole world, as well as just generally being one of the most beloved personalities, as she has over 300 million Instagram followers, making her one of the most followed people on the planet. What's ironic is that on Victorious, she wasn't even seen as the main singing character, she was more of a side character to the singer main character. But yes, I hope you enjoyed joining me today as I ran down the 5 biggest stars from Nickelodeon. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it tremendously if you would subscribe. Thanks for watching. This has been the Third Win channel. Let me know what your top 5 is, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new daily video.